Alrighty, folks, welcome back to another episode, baby, of Live and Motherfucking 5. Episode number 88, Showtime. Fitting, Ozzo, it is Showtime hour over here, brother. It's late where you are in Minnesota. I appreciate you doing this. I know it's wedding season. I know you got to be up at 6 in the morning, but you're a team guy. You're a captain. That game went a little later than we thought, though. Overtime.
Thought we were going to be recording early, eh?
Well, that's what I thought. It was an early game, 5 o'clock here. And you know what? The Oil, they had it wrapped up. And all of a sudden, old Sammy Reinhart just says, hey, you know what? I want to play a little bit more hockey here. So tied it up. But thank God, Leon Draisaitl. Ozzo, what a game. I don't know how much you caught of it, but I got my Oilers tarp on right now. Zach Kassian, chin tucked. Let's go, Oilers. I can't wait to see how hard that barn is buzzing. Dude, what a game. Down 3-0, 4 unanswered. They get it tied back up right across their screws, but they're unflappable. They stayed with it, and Leon Draisaitl buried that one right on the river. As our good buddy Colton Sanderson always says, all big goals are scored on the river. So that was awesome. I know you were working late, Ozzo, but did you catch the end of that?
Oh man, I was like, I got home when it was 3-0, and I had the game on, but I was doing shit like trying to pack a bag. So I got to leave early in the morning, doing some laundry and walking around, and the next thing you know, it's 3-3, and I'm like, no shit. They did it. And before this, Jordan, it's 3-0. And I text my group chat, my buddies, that we have like a group betting, like it's a betting group. So we all 4 bet on the same bet or whatever. And Perp was actually like live Oilers bet. And I was like, yeah, we got to do it. Didn't get placed. It was 3-0. But no, Jordan, how about when Walman, I was watching this, when Walman scores the 4th goal.
Yes.
And he goes and celebrates, like chirps the Panthers bench.
Yep.
Automatic tie game after that.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No, you know that doesn't work every time as a hockey player. The hockey gods, Ozzo, as you said, is a great point by you. And I was thinking the same thing in the moment. I was like, dude, you can't get ahead of yourself in this sport. In this sport, you can't. And in other ones, you can. But for whatever reason, hockey is the most honest game. And you know, you've done that, Ozzo, whether it was in youth hockey, a summer tournament. You got a little bit on your high horse, and you got served up a piece of humble pie.
It always happens, doesn't it? Like I don't know. I saw that, and I'm like, tie game. You got to think guys on the Oilers bench were rattled when they saw him doing that. They're probably like, I was like, Walman, like, you got to keep it under wraps there. Like, just stay quiet. You know, you don't want to piss them off even more than they're already pissed off right now.
So why has he been doing this all series? No, I know Jake Walman, right? He was a kid that came up through the St. Louis Blues organization. You know what? As a young kid, he was, I wouldn't say a punk, but he wasn't well liked. That's just the truth. And he was a guy that actually ended up having to get traded to another AHL team because I think his teammates weren't really fond of him. Okay, that's his first year pro, right? Coming out of Providence, a young, cocky kid with a lot of skill. To his credit, he matured a little bit. He found himself a nice role. He's always been a great skater. He's had a hell of a shot, as we saw with that goal. But why, like, you're not tough. So why are you getting engaged, and why are you like playing the Matty Tkachuk game where Florida's just dragging you in? They know what they're doing. They've won before. They're essentially, you think you're getting them off their game. Actually, it's working in the exact opposite. Think about the water bottle spray incident. He gets fined for that. Obviously, Florida gets fined too, but a couple dumb penalties. He's actually running out of position a little bit in the neutral zone to try to make big hits. I don't know, Ozzo. For me, I think with Wally, he's got a ton of skill. Obviously, a really good player, and he's had a good playoff. I wish he would just stay away from the bullshit. I think he's trying to play into Florida's game too much right now.
Yeah, and Jordan, it's funny you mentioned, like, you know, guys mature throughout their years, obviously. So I have no idea who this guy is as a person, what he is. Got nothing against him, but when I watch him, Jordan, he plays like a guy like because obviously all these guys in the cup finals are like, they're magnified, so we're all watching them, and he just plays like a guy like it doesn't look like his teammates like if you're not a tough guy, if you're not like Zach Cassian, or if you're not like a guy like even Sam Bennett and Matty Tkachuk can do it, but if you're not like chucking them like those guys are, you don't go around chirping the entire game. And like,
no,
especially after a goal like that, like you got to have the team in your mind, and you're like, all right, we're not poking the bear after this. Like we're sticking to what we're doing, and we're playing hockey. And it does seem like the Oilers sometimes, not only Walman, but like even, Evander Kane, like sometimes he pisses me off. It's like, I know he's saying the Panthers are doing it too. Yeah, they are, but they're just not getting caught because they're better at it than you are.
Yeah, and Kane is tough too, right?
Yes.
He can back it up with his fist. The way Walman's been chirping, that holds no magnitude. If you're going to chirp Sam Bennett, he's going to pump your eyes shut. Yeah. If you're going to fight Matty Tkachuk, he's probably going to speed bag you too. So it's just like, I wish you would just play between the whistles, kid, and just let your play doing the talking, because
hell of a player.
Also, like, you score that goal, you go up 4-3. Hell of a shot. What a play by Kasperi Kapanen, too. Patience of a nun. But you slide that puck over. Cappy gives it to Wally. Great shot on Bob's glove side to put your team up. Also, on the road in the Stanley Cup, okay, we don't want to give them any more motivation. We're just trying to get out of this game in regulation and win.
6 minutes left in the third, boys.
Right. Let's lock this thing down and let's get out of here, and let's be as quiet as we can on the way out as possible, because not only do we need to steal this one on the road, we're 2-2 going back home. So that's where I just think a little gamesmanship. And if I was McDavid, which I'm not, I never would be, I would pull that kid aside, or maybe even one of the elder statesmen on the back end, also like a Matthias Ekholm. I know Swedish guys aren't the most vocal, or even Darnell Nurse. Hey, fella, just pump the brakes here. We got a good thing going. You're playing well. Don't buy into their bullshit. They want to pull us all in, and they're dragging you in right now. So that's the one thing I think Wally should, maybe just tighten up a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. Azo, how about Darnell Nurse, the doctor? I mean, say what you want about the guy making 9 in a hook, but he was playing like a young Robert Gordon Orr there in the second period. Short side jar, and then that fucking pass to Polk Cozen in front of the net. I know it was a little bit of a burger he threw, just kind of a shit sandwich, but it ended up on Polk Cozen's tape, and the doctor had 1-1 in the second period.
Oh man, it's so like Darnell Nurse is kind of like, he's kind of like Nickelback in a sense, where like people make fun of him, but he's actually really good.
Yeah, maybe a little overpaid, but still
a little overpaid, but just he's a really good defenseman. I mean that shot, maybe luck, but what's not luck right now? Like that was a jarred.
Yeah, that was nasty. That had shades of your forehand one-timer clapper on your strong side against Northern Michigan that one year with the rocket ball. The only stick you could ever score with that from that angle. Remember that shot you had?
That stick was made to take offside one-timers, nothing else.
Yeah, the old offside strong side one-timer. But yeah, I thought the doctor was solid. And I mean, also where Edmonton needed some guys to step up their depth, they got it. I mean, Polk Cozen, the doctor, Kapanen, Walman, hell of a game for them. You know what? It was funny, Azo, because when I was at the Barstool office, we were hanging out with Liam Bluntman, and he's a ball knower. He's a guy that never really played, but that doesn't matter. He watches sports all day long, and he's a hockey fanatic. And he brought it to my attention, and I know that this guy, Conor McDavid, has scored 64 goals before in a season. But he really shed a light on something I've never really thought about before. Does Conor McDavid not have a great shot? He can't really one-time a puck. When do you really see him beat goalies at range, like from the top of the circles? It's usually just like skates it in the net and the goalie's in the corner. Dude, think about it. He doesn't really even have that good of a shot.
That is so crazy you mentioned that. I texted that into my group chat with my brothers and my dad.
Yeah.
I texted him. I was like, can you imagine if McDavid could take one-timers? It'd be unbelievable, like insane.
He would score 100 goals.
100. Like even if he can't, I don't think he can shoot that well. I did notice he looks a little banged up out there, Jordo. He's got to be battling something, which player out there isn't. But imagine if that guy could shoot the puck. I mean, I'm not saying he can't shoot the puck, but just shoot it like, I mean, look at Bouchard. Bouchard bombs from the point. I mean, even Leon Draisaitl can take the one-timer. Just add the one-timer to your game, and I mean, you're unstoppable. But
even if he could hit like a mid-level one-timer, right? Doesn't have to be.
You don't see him taking like even any one-timers.
No. And did you see that clapper he had from the ladies' tees in the slot? Like, man, if that's Draisaitl, that's nipple in. Like
that. If that's like, there's quite a few players out there. If that's them,
I would even say if he could shoot it like Nugent Hopkins, he would have 100 goals.
Yes.
Right? Because Nuge can hit a one-timer.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a decent, and he can score top of the circles down, especially with the screen. Like, how many times do you see McDavid even just score off the rush with like a nasty wrister, really, like through a screen?
It's not often. I mean, I've seen it, but the amount of chances and looks that he gets with his skating, if he had a shot, like he'd have so many goals, it'd be crazy. You got to think he's working on that because he's a psycho. So like he's thinking about every aspect of the game he can work on, obviously. And you got to think like he notices that too.
Yeah, it's just a wild thought. Like the best player of all time doesn't really have that great of a shot. Like it's not an option for him to really use and really a threat from the blue line in where, you know, I mean, we're talking about Ovechkin who can score from anywhere, but obviously he's the greatest goal scorer of all time, but still McDavid has scored 64 goals in a season and he essentially just skated him into the net. Like
they weren't like shots.
No.
And that's the one thing I noticed too, like on their power play, it's lethal, but whenever they give it to McDavid when he's in a one-timer position, if he could take a one-timer, it'd be that much more lethal. But every time they pass it to him when he's in that spot, you're like, no one's going down to block a shot because you just know he's not shooting it.
Yeah, it's just crazy, and I don't know. It's wild. But Ozzo, what are we thinking for just this series in general moving forward? Obviously, now it is a best of 3. I think if we would have started at the start of this series, we probably would have said, you know what, this is probably going to go 7, at least 6. I had Oil in 7. So what are we thinking going back to Oil Country? I mean, that arena, brother, when I was up there, it is an absolute fucking zoo. Like, these people are full-on mutants. It's like North Dakota fans, but Northern Albertans. So it's face paint, it's calf tattoos, it's everybody's shit-faced, it's natives, it's a whole thing. Farmers, guys driving drunk with their Dodge pickups with a 12-inch lift kit. I mean, it's everything you'd ever imagine. I mean, that's the loudest barn I've ever been in. And it was my first final being up there. But what are we thinking, fella? Like, to this point in my predictions, which means nothing really, but I'm perfect. I had the Oil in game 1. I had Florida. Then I had the Oil in game 4. I got the Oil going home. Game 5, back at Rogers. And then I got Florida, obviously, in 6. And then the Oil back home for Canada, baby. What do you got? What are you seeing? You think Florida? They're not going to be that rattled though about that. It's Florida, man. They're fucking.
No, it's Florida.
They'll get back at it.
Those guys are guns, and this series is it's so awesome because how many times are you watching Jordan and you're like, oh, the Panthers are twice as good as the Oilers, and then a period later you're like, oh, the Oilers, they're way better than the Panthers. It's like you can't make up your mind. You're like, who's better?
Yeah.
You know, and they just go back and forth. And you don't see that too often. Most series is you're watching and you're like, oh, this one team's better. You know, the other team might pull off a couple of games, but like you can tell the other team's just better. I like your prediction. I think that's how it's going to go. I hope that's how it goes. Can you imagine game 7 up in Edmonton?
Oh my God.
How scary that would be. Like, how do you even like, I don't know. Can you imagine just as a fan, one, but also as a player going in that game? Oh man, it'd be fucking crazy. And I don't know. I just want to see that. That's all I want to see.
If it goes to game 7 in Edmonton, Alberta, where it is not getting dark out until about 10:30 right now. So one way or the other, win or loss, people are dying.
Oh yeah.
Like, let's call a spade a spade. Like
There's gonna be a couple people that die in Edmonton, Alberta.
Like, I was at the pint after game 2 and there was a shooting. Now, granted, it ended up being a flesh wound and it was a rubber bullet. It was like a pellet gun or something like that. But I guess it was still a drive-by. It was about 1:47 in the morning. And I went out to the smoker's patio because I was looking for a left-handed cigarette. And the bouncer said, "Get back inside." I go, "What's going on?" And he looks at me. He goes, "Get back inside." I go, "Okay, that's weird." So I go to the front of the pint. And there's a bunch of cop cars and a guy down, and he literally got shot by like this rubber pellet gun.
So he was okay.
Yeah, but it was a drive-by with a pellet gun. Is that the most Canadian thing you've ever heard? A drive-by with a pellet gun?
Yeah.
Is that the most Canadian
ripping pellet guns at guys on the streets?
We're gonna orchestrate a drive-by, but
it was probably a bunch of drunk
redneck
Canadians, like farmer boys that just going around instead of paintballing, they got pellet guns.
Right. Like, that's the most Canadian thing I've ever heard. We're not gonna kill anybody, but we're still gonna orchestrate a drive-by. Like, so I went outside and I'm like, holy fuck. Someone's like, yeah, there's a shooting. I go, all right, well, I'm not even going to close my bar tab. Just take it, whatever, and I'll cancel the card. I'm going to go home now. So I got out of there. But yeah, bro, that's going to be a zoo. And if it goes 7, I'm going to try to get up there because that city's hilarious, man. Like, it literally is like the North Dakota of the NHL. And I could see why Stecher wanted to stay there long term. Obviously, you know, he wanted a chance to win. That's no shit. But he just fits a place like that for sure. Stecher's funny. Like, he didn't play a ton of minutes tonight, but for the amount of Ferragamos and red bottom shoes he has, Azo, he's a fucking grinder guy.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, he dresses and acts, and he kind of is this British Columbia, Vancouver guy who, you know, a little big timer, you know, wears the aviators, slicks his hair back, always got nice clothes on, but at the same time, he can just easily fit in with the North Dakota vibe where, you know, we're chewing grizzly and drinking Busch Light in the bar. And it's just like, I don't know. He can fit into that crowd, even though he doesn't look the part. But I did want to talk about Stecher too, Jordo, because think about how tough that would be being thrown into that game. Like, you've seen I think this speed of this series is elevated even since the first round, the second round, the semifinals. It's so fast out there. There's so much on the line, and you get thrown into the lineup. Game 4, down 2-1. And I watched his play, Jordo. Obviously, he gets benched after kind of he misses a reverse, and the Florida guy picks it up, puts it out front, scores on him. Obviously, coach doesn't like that, sits him on the bench. But did you watch the replay, Jordo? I mean, he got slashed in the face, so should have been a high stick call. No call, unlucky. It's the playoffs, whatever. Play on. You get scored on. You get to the bench and you find out, like, you're sitting there the whole time, like, thinking, am I going to get another shift? You know, is he going to throw me back out there? Give me one more chance. Just give me one more chance. I'll do well. I don't think he got a chance after that, Jordan. Maybe once.
Yeah. He had 9 shifts for the night. He played about 4 minutes. But after every goal, Azo, he was the first guy celebrating. And that didn't change his mood. And if it was the preseason that happened in a summer game, the Stanley Cup final, Stecher's going to do the same thing. So, that just goes to show you what type of teammate he is. But yeah, I mean, that's just a shitty bounce. You get inserted to the Stanley Cup final.
So shitty.
In game number 4, you haven't played in a week, maybe a little more. And you get a tough bounce on some Florida ice that's 105 out there.
So unlucky. Stick to the face. Miss the reverse just a little bit.
Yep.
Man, I felt bad for him, but still pretty cool. Like, he had a pretty nails quote before the game, Jordan. I don't know if you saw that, but he's like,
I don't know. What do you say?
Someone asked him, what do you feel like? What are you thinking about being inserted in the lineup like this and having played all series? And he's like, yeah, just pretty much my whole career. Like I was undrafted and never knew if I was going to get a next contract. But like my whole career, people have been telling me no, and I found a way. So
Yeah.
just glad to be here. And it's like, yeah, it's pretty nails.
Yeah, I actually did see that earlier. That was. He's always a good quote, Stecher.
He is. The reporters love him for a reason. He's well spoken.
Yeah, he's a Sportsnet special. But Azo, moving on. It is wedding season over there in Minnesota, my friend. Paul Ledoux, down for the count. He's gonna have to fork over half if that doesn't go well. But all the best to Kip and him. Awesome to see. I'm bummed I missed that one. How was it, fella? Was it pretty? Standard? Was there any highlight reels? Any Jay Ledoux like quotes? How did Larry do with his speech? Give me everything, baby.
No, there was it was incredible, and especially for a guy like me who over the years I've gotten to know Paul's pretty much entire family really well. Obviously Luke Johnson's in his family, and they're the Luke's brother Max and sister Ellie and Steve Johnson and that whole family, and then Paul's side of the family. And so I knew everyone on that side. And then throughout, we've been hanging out with Kippen for now, it's been like 5-6 years. So
since the players' ball.
And honestly, the mini movers have moved Kippen's parents, I think, a couple times, and her aunts and uncles.
Yep.
So, and I've been at those, like, estimate, I met all these people and like kind of spent some time with them. So I knew everyone there. It was an unbelievable time. Jay Ledoux is firing off quotes. If you plant corn, you're going to grow corn.
Yep.
And
yeah, that's
and
true, Jay.
Luke Johnson absolutely killed his speech. He spoke like Larry. It was a little like people were like, how's this going to go? And then all of a sudden it's just fire, he just heats up. He dropped a line, like just in the middle of it. He was like telling a story and he's like, yeah, no, Dewey. I promise, buddy, we're going to get the guy that did that to your hair. And it was just like out of nowhere, and everyone just starts dying laugh. Unbelievable time. Dewey and Kip, actually a great idea, Jordo, on the dance floor. They had a bunch of speeder shades for everyone.
Oh, nice.
So everyone had the speeder shades on. Yeah. And Dewey got Curtis McDermott out there. Is always a fun guy to be around.
Yeah, Dermy. Scary bastard.
And Andreov. What was funny was Seth Helgeson was there. I don't know if you know Seth Helgeson.
Yeah. I had a cup of Joe with him in Bridgeport. I trained with him a little bit in the summers. He's hilarious.
Hilarious, dude. He was on the mic on our bus ride home, but he was like barefoot the entire wedding, like inside the venue, just barefoot. He was like, I just don't want my feet sweating. So it's like he's walking around barefoot. It just looked funny. He's in dress pants and dress shirt and got no shoes on. So
35 years old.
Yeah, it was a great time. But it's a gauntlet, man. Like I'm headed back. I'm headed down to Des Moines to join Tomer's wedding now, Keaton Thompson.
Yeah. So how did before we get to that, how did the fellas respond in terms of after the golf trip? There was a solid showing, obviously. How was a young man like Colton Sanderson holding up? Chiswick, the fellas, like the golf
boys. The boys were firing.
I love it.
Dusky, Chiz firing. Gersich, I think Bridge tried to take him home at one point, and he said, I ain't leaving. And he literally said that and stayed with the boys. We bus dropped them off at the hotel after, but
love it.
Yeah, the boys showed out. It was good to see, because obviously all of us were a little stung still.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, it was a great effort. So this weekend, no excuses, play like a champion. Rule number 76, heading down to the guts of Des Moines, Iowa for a young man named Soul Train Keaton Thompson. That's going to be another barn burn. Oz, you're in that wedding too, aren't you, fella?
Yeah, I'm in that one. I'm headed down tomorrow morning to join the golf round with the wedding party and all the dads of the family, I guess. And yeah, it'll be a good time. Then we got rehearsal. We got to do all that. It's just, dude, it's such a grind when you think about
when you're in it. It's such a grind.
When you're in it, like
such a grind.
You're putting your suit on, Jordan, at like 11 a.m. and then you're not taking it off till 2 a.m.
Yep.
Like you're in the suit. It's a grind.
Remember when Rico did his wedding on a Sunday?
Oh,
and we all got And we all got there Thursday.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. I wanted to kill that guy. Oh my God. We got to Sunday and there was a scheduled brunch before pitchers. And it was at Good Day Cafe. And he slept in my room all 3 nights before that. So he's not even sleeping with his wife that he's already married to because it was a COVID wedding. He's sleeping with me. So the last night we get back to our room at like 5 a.m. I never forget. We're drinking Crown Apple in the lobby. And we're eating, what's that late night Pizza Luce? Yeah. We're eating Pizza Luce. It's open till 4 a.m. We're in this lobby of, what's that hotel at the West End called? It's the AC Loft. So we're sitting there after an absolute shift over like at Punch Bowl, and then we took it to the lobby drinking Crown Apple, and we're there with Smitty and his buddies, his Sasky buddies, drinking Coors Banquets. And we get to, 5, 6 a.m. and he wakes me up at 7 a.m. He goes, Jordo, we got to go to brunch. I go, get out of my bed right now. He goes, you're not coming? I go, motherfucker, I've given you the last 72 hours. Get the fuck out of my bed. He's like, oh, you're going to miss my wedding day brunch? I go, you're already fucking married. Shut the fuck up. But he got me there. He guilted me into it. But I just never forget how pissed off I was at that young man out of Moose Jaw. Oh my God. He almost killed me, man. Like I still talk about that wedding. It was, and you know how it was, Oz. It was fucking crazy. But when you're in it, it's even more magnified, bro. And this is your second one you're in. So you're gonna have to keep that chin tucked.
Oh yeah, like Dusky's wedding. That's a funny one to bring up. I mean,
oh my God,
what was that guy thinking? I mean, I got people showing up to mine, coming up here on Friday, and mine's on Saturday.
Yep.
Dusky wanted us there Thursday, like at 6 p.m.
Yeah, for a meat and cheese.
And his wedding's not till Sunday. I mean, he was dragging us out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Oh, come out Sunday. I remember thinking Sunday, and I had to leave, I think, for work on Monday morning. Like, I barely boozed on Sunday at his wedding because I was like, buddy, we just went on a 3-day bender. Like, you can get the fuck out of my face with this wedding here on a Sunday.
I remember I was so, when you're in the stage of a day 4 and you're just hung and drunk and you're like 15 drinks deep, but you don't even know if you're hungover or you're drunk because you're so tired, right? Like the pictures that day, like I'm pretty sure they had to edit all of them because our faces were so pale and Laurel was so mad at us. So we get into the pictures, whatever. We get into the ceremony. Okay. I'm standing up there and I am just shaking. I'm like, can this thing fucking end? And Rico previously told me I can't wear my shades. I go, fuck you. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Outside.
It was so bright. I can't wear my shades. So whatever. I'm not that big of an ass. So I took my shades off. I wore them inside after, but I took them off for the ceremony. And I was the 2-car in the hole, his one buddy, Brad, and then it was me. And I'll never forget, as they were dismissing us, Ozzo, the pastor, his name was Bud. And I was so fed up at that point. I looked at him. I said, good fucking shit, Bud. And I gave him knucks. He's like, you can't say that. I go, I don't give a fuck.
Where's the rule book that says I can't say that, Bud?
Yeah, it was like the scene out of Wedding Crashers when Vince Vaughn is talking to the priest and he's just like exposing way too much information. Yeah, that was like the look he gave me. He's like, Jesus, you just swore 2 seconds after they did their vows. But yeah, that wedding was an all-timer. But you'll have fun this weekend, Ozzo. That'll be great. I am going to be going 1 for 3 for the Cowboys. I'm coming to yours. I booked my flight yesterday, so I'll be up there. Clark Saunders in the mix. It's going to be awesome. That's coming up too, fella. That's going to be here before we know it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's going to be close.
Hey, I can't find a fucking hotel. I'm on the taxi squad at the Best Western. I called them just about an hour ago. I said, hey, you got a room? They said, no, we don't have anything. I go, fuck. All right. Well, I guess that's what happens when you book late.
Let me know when the something will open up. Someone will back out. Yeah. Someone always does. Like,
yep.
It's just the way it goes. And it's so funny, how some people view these weddings, some guys are missing Tomer's wedding too. Yep. And, like the girls, the girls are like, and the girls are like all pissed off about it. It's like, guys, we got lives here, like we'll
Yeah.
see you. It's like, I feel like a wedding, if you never see the guy, maybe, go because you don't see him. But if you see each other like fairly often, like, is it that big of a deal that we're, if you got shit to do, you got shit to do. If you don't got anything to do on the weekend, then come on out, but like, don't get mad at me if I can't make it.
Yeah. Like, just being transparent over here at Live and Fight. Like, I'm trying to get off the government cheese, so I got to grind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gotta get out there, and I might go to Florida. If it goes 7 for the oil, I'm gonna get up there, and that's just how it goes, right? Like, I would love to be there, but I also can't take time off of work. And Ozzo, that being an entrepreneur. I mean, I remember your early days of Mini Movers, dude. We couldn't even get you for a fucking lunch, let alone a wedding.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta, and that's where I was kind of like, I was looking at you, especially like, how are you supposed to miss the Stanley Cup finals when you're doing
right
for a wedding?
Yep.
Like, I want to be there, but like, I'm not, this is I don't want to get fired, like type of thing. It's like, you got to do what you got to do. If you can make it, great. If you can't,
I'll see you at your next one.
Yeah, I'll see you again. So, yeah, it's funny that they, it's just viewed differently by both parties,
Yeah, 100%. And obviously you want all your boys to be at your wedding. That's what makes it fun. And it's always a sign of a good dude when a lot of guys show up to your wedding. But again, it's people got other shit going on, so that's just kind of how it goes. But Ozzo, one of the coolest things I've done in the last couple of weeks, maybe even months, got to go over to Barstool, Chicago, their HQ there. Sunday night, last Sunday, watched a stream with Liam Bluntman, watched game 3, it would have been. And then the following day, that was Monday. And then Tuesday, got to go on the Barstool Yak with Big Cat, Nick, all those guys, and do the gauntlet as well. Man, that was one of the coolest things. Just seeing that operation up front, close and personal. I gave Brandon Walker, his nickname now is Walks. He's going by Walks. He loves it. But yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. And just working, and not even working, just seeing those people at work, seeing the creators, seeing, what the coolest thing was is just seeing everyone behind the scenes of how like legit of a business is. I mean, I know it's a $500 million business, Ozzo, but it's pretty crazy what essentially one guy built in Dave Portnoy. Like, I was amazed. Say what you want about Barstool, it was amazing to see up front, man. It was
Dave
really cool.
did, but I'm willing to give Big Cat some of his flowers too. Like, he was there right with them, and I don't think they go anywhere. Like, you don't know where they'd be without Big Cat. But yeah, just from where they've been, I've always wondered, Jordan, like, you see the people that are in front of the camera, obviously, right? Because they're the content people, but there's got to be just as many just normal workers that aren't content people, like video guys and like audio guys and like producers and stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
there's got to be so many of those guys. Like, what is it like when you're walking through this office? Is it like complete mayhem, like people making fun of each other? Or is like they're actual people at an office, like making serious phone calls, talking, like just actually doing real work?
Dude, I would say it was everything. I mean, they had a control room like it was Toronto, where they were reviewing plays, like for all their audio equipment. So there was 3 or 4 guys in there. Then they had 2 levels of desk. It's a multi-story building, and they had a ton of people, their producers, their editors, all sitting there editing all day, Ozzo, probably 20 to 40 people editing all day. And then I went upstairs, and there was board meetings going on, like people dealing with the sponsorship, people dealing with their budget, people dealing with partnerships. And then you went downstairs into kind of like the kitchen area and the cave, they call it, where they all watched games. And that's where like guys were chopping it up. Like PFT was there, Big Cat was in and out of there. You had the gals even there, like Annika, and you had like Nick there. You had Bluntman. You had, I mean, there was everyone, even just
Titus and Walker are pretty.
Titus and Walker were in there too, and just like the people just buzzing in and out of there. It's like, what is going on? That Chef Donnie, the guy that he's got his own fucking kitchen in the back. There's a full basketball court.
I saw that Rudy guy was there. That Rudy John.
Yeah,
I think he played for Denver or whatever.
Yep.
Is he like a content guy, or what does he do for him?
I think he's kind of like in between, like still trying to kind of find out what he is. I think he does some of their Barstool gaming stuff where he'll like e-game.
Yeah.
I think he does a little bit of producing, and as well as he's on camera as well. But also, like the studios for mostly sports with Titus and Walker, and then Pardon My Take, their studio in there. Like there's probably like 3 or 4, maybe 5 studios that are like dedicated strictly to their biggest shows.
Pardon My Take had its own studio
Yeah.
that just sits there and no one else films there other than them.
No, and then the Yak was in there, and then you had mostly sports, and then you had Dog Walker, that show Anus, like, and then they had like probably 4 or 5 studios where it's just kind of it's like a revolving door where they can change out the studio. Bro, it was insane. Like just the amount of people just buzzing in there. Ran into Hank Lockwood. There was like, it's just crazy that all those people are there at once, and it's like synchronized chaos at all times.
Oh,
like
yeah.
We ended the Yak after the gauntlet. They're like, okay, guys, you got to be done. Like, I wanted another run at it. They're like, we got the science fair coming up. Like, the science fair? They're like, yeah, everyone made a project. I'm like, holy fuck. Like, these guys, it's nonstop. Yeah. I ran into Jersey Jerry was in there, that oldie, that Canadian beauty. He was in there. But everyone was so cool, man. Like, Big Cat, it's crazy. Also, his easiest part of his days must be when he's on the mic, because he's managing all those people.
Yeah. What is it like seeing Big Cat? Did you get to like talk to him?
Yeah,
and what was he doing like while you saw him?
So he did the Yak. He brought us on. He had to run out for another radio hit. I think he was doing something with like KFC and Feidelberg. Came back on. The guy's a machine. Came back on the Yak, closed it out, immediately went around the corner, went right into Pardon My Take, did 2 hours of Pardon My Take, and then I didn't see him after that. But he gave us like probably like 5 minutes. He was like, "What's up, boys? You guys are the hockey boys?" We're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, that's awesome. Like, you know, how you doing? You're going to come on the show today." We're like, because we didn't know we were going on the Yak. And he's like, "What are you guys doing here?" And we're like, "Well, we came to stream and watch ball with Bluntman." He's like, "That's it?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's kind of, we didn't know what we were going to do." He goes, "That's fucking awesome. I love it." You know what I mean? So he really appreciated like our grind. And it seemed like everyone in there, Oz, when I text you this, I'm not just pumping our tires. I think it was a good showing for us, but everyone was like really cool. And I think, you know, they liked our vibe, and, you know, like the feedback was really good. So it was cool, man. I don't know if it'll lead anywhere. At least it's somewhere we could pop in and do some stuff at very least. But yeah, dude, it was really cool to see just like everything in the works. And the funniest thing is they just muck all day. Like I must have I got asked like 6 times if I wanted ice cream. I'm like, it's 2:00 on Tuesday. Like,
because they just got the ice cream machine.
I know.
Listening to Pardon My Take, they're talking about the ice cream machine.
Big Cat's like, "Wait, you guys don't want ice cream?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Well, you can get toppings on it." I'm like, "Dude, I don't want ice cream." And then we went in the kitchen, and they're offering us all of this Canadian candy oldie brought in. They're like, "Oh, you don't want all dressed chips? Oh, you don't want Rolos?" I'm like, "No, man. Like, I'm good. You know, I'm all right." "Oh, we got donuts." He brought Tim Hortons. I'm like, "No, I'm good, man." So it was cool, man. It was a lot of fun. They got an absolute machine over there. Ben Mintz is the most interesting character I met there. So we were watching Game 3 on the TV. To the right of us was Murray State and Duke. To the left of us was Kirk Miniham versus Rico Bosco in a live stream of a Barstool pickup game. So we had that going on. It was hilarious. But back to the Murray State game. Murray State ends up beating Duke in Raleigh, or in Durham, on their home field to advance to the College World Series. First time ever in school history. I think they're the Murray State Runners. So Benny Mintz stands up. He hadn't said a word in like, I don't know, 20 minutes. Stands up, gets about an inch away from the TV. You go, "They're running their way to the Omaha. Oh my God, that is unbelievable." And he goes, "Holy Christ, only in America." It's like, yeah, only in America you could go to the College World Series. You're right, Mincy. Like, and we just fucking erupted, man. It was so good. He goes, "Only in America."
Trying.
Yeah, it was poetic, man. It was
that guy is hilarious. He's like he's a guy that's probably never tried to be funny. He just is, you know. Oh yeah, man. I could just picture him saying that. "Only in America."
He goes, "Only in American," like in his Southern accent too.
That's so good.
It was
I
so
can't
good.
believe that guy's still hired, by the way. That guy's got a hilarious story.
That guy, got hired literally to sell those watches Prez had, and then that company like basically went out of business, like he wasn't doing anything, and then I think he like almost got fired and then brought back.
Well, he did get fired because someone told him to like sing a rap song and it had the N-bomb in it, and he actually said it.
He followed through.
So they got canceled. And
Yeah.
they had to fire him, and then they brought him back once Dave took over the company again.
Yeah, I mean you gotta follow through with your shot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, that was good, man. But it was a lot of fun, Ozzo.
Is that office, by the way, Jordan, just right downtown Chicago? Like, how big is this place? Like, if you had to guess on like what it cost for Barstool to buy this.
So it's in West Town, which is just north of the West Loop, and it's an old cheese factory, and it's like in an industrial park. PFT actually had his Camaro parked out front. Nasty. Or actually, no, it's El Camino. Sorry.
El Camino, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sick. Ozzo, I would say it's huge, man. 20,000 square feet? Maybe more? Maybe. I mean, it's got a full-length basketball court, and behind that, it has a massive kitchen, and then it's 2 levels.
Think about the tech they have in there too.
40,000? I don't even know. It's somewhere between 20 and 40,000 square. It's huge. It's huge. It's big.
Man, that's sick.
Yeah, it's bigger than 20, I think. Yep.
Yeah, I mean they do have good sponsors. Like during your guys' yak, they were doing Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Sponsors. Like that's a pretty big sponsor.
Well, their DraftKings deal is insane. Yeah. And Chevrolet is insane. Like, I mean, dude, pardon my takes, the -- sports show in all of sports.
Oh, I still listen to it every episode.
Yeah,
because Big Cat and PFT are just they're wizards, man. You know, like, and I know they're not like professional analysts, but
they're better. They're better.
Like their takes are like better than, you know. I'd rather listen to their football take than pretty much any football analyst out there on Fox Sports or anything,
or Mike Wilbon, or you know. So yeah, I mean they're legit. I think Big Cat is so talented. I think he's
an animal.
He's the best point guard. I think he's honestly the best point guard to ever do it. Like he's Scott Van Pelt good, and I think he actually, you know what, longevity wise, he'll keep going. He'll be better. Like he's that good.
Yeah.
He really is, man. He's
those guys grind. They must drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah, I think a lot of coffee. I don't think there's any workouts going on. I don't think there's any. They
didn't have a gym in there.
No, well they do. They had Nikki Smokes' Planet Litness is in there.
Oh, is that? Because
they're a sponsor. So yeah, they got Nikki Smokes' bullpen over there. He's just taking down the whole office. So
I saw him with your guys' guest. What's her name?
Cornbread bitch.
Cornbread. Yeah.
Do you see that he FaceTimed us on that day, and he was telling us he was lining that up, that Cornbread was making the trek from Orlando to Fort Lickerdale to come see him. And he was telling us how he was going to tee up his head in her nukes. And then, like, I guess, like, did you see the DM? It was ridiculous. She told him to bark, and then he sent her a bark, like, voice message.
Did he actually send her like a...
Yeah, he did. That got her there.
Just absurd.
That
got her there.
It's insane. But
it's good,
fella. Yeah, let's do the People's Insider term of the week here, folks. We're gonna get to that, and then we'll wrap this shit up. We'll get Ozzo on his way into the chin of Des Moines. The People's Insider term of the week. And this week's People's Insider term of the week is pile. Now, we all know a shit pile. We all know the piles on the team. We all know piles in life, Ozzo. Those are the rookies. Those are the guys that, you know what, you're not even a schmelt, as some guys would say or refer to you in hockey. You're not a rook. You're not just some young veteran. No, you're just a straight shit pile. You know what? You don't even deserve the right to be called a rookie right now because you're just that dumb. You're that naive. You haven't seen anything. You haven't earned the right to hang out with the veterans. Carry my bag, pile. Go buy me a chew, pile. Get me something to eat, pile. You know what? Because you have to pay your dues through the ranks. At least that's how it used to be, Ozzo. I learned this term back in the USHL in Green Bay back in my day We always used to call the young kids from Detroit, Nick Schilke, Sheldon Dries, and Alex Kyle, a.k.a. Alex Pile, the shit piles. So, you know what, Azo, you got to earn your stripes. And a lot of times these young kids are so dumb at any level. They're so stupid, but they learn their way. But you have to start at the bottom, and you are what we call a shit pile.
A pile. That's a great one. I like that. There's also, Jordo, you're kind of referring to piles on a team or like an athletic team. There's also just real life piles out there. I'm not going to name any names, but you know these people, they somehow get through life without really doing anything ever. They're just piles. Like they don't do anything. Yeah, and it's somehow they make it by. I don't know how, but kudos to them because they do get by, but they're shit piles.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's piles not only on a hockey team, but there's piles in life. So that, folks, is the People's Insider Term of the Week. Put that one in your pipe and smoke it. Azo, you're heading to Des Moines, my friend. Thank you for making the time late here at night. I know you got to be up early, but you are the definition of a grinder, team guy. Always a glue guy with you, Captain. Tape to tape. Say hi to Tomer. He's probably still mad at me, but he does know that I love him. I'll see him up in Grand Rapids at your shutter, fella. Have a weekend, early and often on the piss, D to D, tape to tape. That was episode number 88, folks, of Live in 5. Cross your fucking chin. Woo!